Series. And this is our L Series Animals Show. So let's meet my lovelies. The leonine Ross Noble. The larky Sarah Millican. Lounge lizard Colin Lane. And the lesser spotted Alan Davis. Here's what they sound like. Ross goes... lion. Sarah goes... a lark. Or possibly a ringtone. Colin goes...
I thought you were supposed to have the worst one.
See if you can guess what that is.
That's a human simulation.
It's an L. It's not a Melbourne housewife. No. It's a good score at Scrabble for a four-letter animal.
Lynx.
Yes! It's a lynx. It's a lynx. And Alan, your sound is...
Stephen! Listen to me! I want points!
Right. Now, I've given each of you a penny in case you're caught short. One of these. Yes, because... one of our questions tonight, as in throughout this series, will be a little bit lavatorial. So, if you think that the answer to the question concerns the lavatory, you get a chance to spend your penny. It's a joker card. All right. Now, what does the loneliest whale in the world sound like?
I was going to say Richard Littlejohn. Someone sent me a thing about blue whales, that they are really loud. They can make a noise of 180 decibels.
It's the loudest noise any animal can make. All whales.
It's louder than a plane taking off,
or a
baby crying, or anything. And it can be heard 500 miles away.
And further. In fact, the deeper it is, the further it sounds. And if it's very, very low pitch. Somebody feed him.
It's not even close.
I don't know what that sounded like. I never want to hear it ever again.
Your wife is a very lucky woman.
Yeah, this particular whale is one. We don't actually know what species it is because no one's found it, but people have heard it. And it's very unusual because it's the highest pitched whale that's ever been recorded by hydrophones, the microphones you pop down into the depths.
How do they know that it's lonely?
Because it's never been answered.
Oh.
But maybe it just likes spending time on its own.
Well,
maybe it's like singing in your kitchen in your nightie.
There's
a subtle difference between lonely and alone.
That's very, very true.
Maybe he's just reading books and spending some time.
Not reading books. I don't think we can go that far.
Also, how do we know, if we've never seen it, how do we know that it is a whale? It might just be a couple of dolphins mucking about with a big shell. They're coming. No, nothing. No. There's a whale over there, I think, but...
No, I think
that's the shell.
That's the shell.
It's a conch.
I didn't think conch when you did that.
Are you suggesting that
I'm not suggesting anything.
Are you suggesting I'm somehow pleasuring a whale?
A sperm whale's penis is about 3
meters
long.
Yeah, you need a bigger mouth than even you would have got.
Isn't it great how we're all so keen to be involved?
Hang on a second. If we're all getting involved, I'll start here. Have it all the way along the way. Hold it like that. There you go. There we go. Heave ho! Heave ho!
Oh, dear. Well, it's generally believed that it is a blue or a fin whale, and it's 52 hertz, which is a far higher register. We've actually got it. We can hear it. That seems very deep to us, but that's actually the highest. You know,
Sounds like standing outside
deeper
a
ones
nightclub.
travel much further. Now, at home...
What time are you closing? We're trying to sleep.
Mate. Not with that shirt.
At home, you might not be able to hear that because not all televisions can actually take that amount of bass. But you probably haven't got a woofer at home, as I have. Just on the issue of last creatures, not necessarily... I mean, some people believe that rather than being a blue whale or a fin whale, it could actually be a whale that is a result of two different species of whale mating. It was a new kind of whale, and that it doesn't have a natural mate because it's a sort of mutated voice. Well, the 52 hertz whale has a high-pitched voice and no mates. Now, Sarah, suppose you find a vampire deer.
A vampire deer?
Yes. Who are you going to call?
Well, I'm tempted to say Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Oh, you see. Temptation. No, you don't oil out of it by saying, I'm not going to say ... I'm sorry, aren't we crow?
So is it a vampire or a vampire deer? I need
Yeah,
to get
very
that clear. No.
smartly spotted that I was doing a little trick. It is indeed a vampire deer.
So you weren't really calling me a nice thing?
No, but I...
Noted. And I'm supposed to ring somebody. Can I not just run for my life?
Well, let's suppose you found the skull of a vampire deer.
How would I know that's what it was? I'm not very good at school.
That's the point. You would be puzzled. This is what you would see.
Who killed one earlier?
I tell you what, that must have been a horrible Tupperware party. And then I was thinking, if you'd like to buy them... dear!
Well, people do find these in the soil of Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, Bedfordshire, that sort of area, and they are living. They're creatures that live.
That one's not.
That one, no.
But we just established, if it looks in a mirror, can it see its reflection?
Does it have a lovely cloak as well?
I don't think...
Yeah, that's how you ride them, because you get on their backs and you hold the cloak. You've got to be very careful, because if you come up behind the car, you look in the rear-view mirror, they don't see you, stop very quickly, bang, dead.
You've got to be careful as well, because magicians have a similar cloak, and you don't want to ride one of them in the woods, do you?
That's true. That's exactly what Debbie McGee said to me over tea. Yeah, all the time.
Is it a vampire deer just because it's got these funny teeth, or does it actually like blood?
No, it's because it's got the funny teeth. It's like a saber tooth, but it exists now. So who would you call if you found an animal or saw an animal that looked really unusual? There's a place to call. It's a fine institution.
Hang on,
the finest institution.
The Natural History
The Natural History Museum is right. Yeah.
Stephen!
Well done. We have with us Stuart Hine from the Natural History Museum's very special department. Oh, Stuart. Welcome. When I was a boy and you found something unusual, you would send it to Blue Peter. But nowadays, you get sent things. Is that the point?
Yep, you can send anything to us. We do about 4,500 or so identifications each year, generally for the public. Not just full of dinosaurs, but we actually have more than 300 scientists who are able to answer these inquiries for you.
This presumably is a common thing for people to send in because they think that it may be an ancient or unusual species.
Well, once every 1 or 2 years, so because they're not that common. Where it comes from over there in China, it's becoming more endangered. We've got about 10% of the world's population living feral in the UK now.
And how did they arrive here if they're not endemic?
Into wildlife parks, zoos and so forth. And a pair escaped back in the 30s, and they've become sort of established there now, I believe, possibly from a single pair.
Wow. So it shows that sometimes incest works, doesn't it?
Sorry, which area of the country?
No! I walked into that one. Eyes wide shut. Can you give us any other examples of common things? I've got some. Maybe this kind of thing you must get sent. Although it's not necessarily natural history. There are people who believe that life came from such objects. What's that? Yeah, what would you say?
Stephen! Meteorite.
Oh, you wish. Everybody thinks...
Is it poo? Is it fossilised poo?
A coprolite, I think they're called, aren't they? Is that right?
Oh,
yeah.
Coprolite. One of my favourite songs, the time he's thrown out the Natural History Museum.
It's like somebody's cooking, is it? Because I've made things that look a bit like that.
It's basically a rock, I think. Is that right?
It's a bit of, well, slag.
Slag.
So industrial waste, yeah, containing metals, slightly magnetic.
Oh, well, that's good. Slag.
You bitch.
But I believe a lot of people see stones and they might even be smoking or steaming. Is that right?
I've heard so many tales of these smoking, steaming things, but it usually involves my grandfather who was returning from the pub. So we know where they're going with that straight away.
And are there any other things that would strike people as being somehow alien or odd?
The price is in the gift shop.
various slimes, mystery slimes and things come in. So star jelly and things like this.
Star jelly?
Star jelly is one of the names for one of these slimes. There we've got these wonderful pictures.
What would that be?
Historically, that the people believe that this is associated with passing meteorites and things. And it just is frog gel, or a jelly.
Oh, spawn.
Spawn, indeed.
Yeah. How would it get outside a pond?
Well, we did some DNA analysis which told us that it came from the frog and that magpie was implicated. Magpie vomit, perhaps.
Nice.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Charming.
Well, thank you very much, Stuart Hine. There you are. You can all remember he's your go-to guy if you find something unusual in your garden. Now, what's wild, horny, comes from northeast England and hasn't been touched by a man in 800 years?
I was touched by a man. Well, that was one. On Tuesday last week. There you go. Definitely not me.
That's one off the list. Is it? Watch this. I'm going to seem really smart if this works. Is it the white cows, the Chillingham white cows?
Whoa! Yes, it is. Well done. Yeah, very good. Have you seen them?
I have seen them. There they are. In fact, as a boy, I frolicked in the... that's where I'm from. I'm from the Northumberland. I'm up that neck of the woods. And then in the foot and mouth, everyone, the white cows, they're all going to go. And then so they were quarantined off and no one was allowed near them. And it all touch and go. And go,
not to touch
and then
that's right. They haven't been touched for certainly for 100 years, and probably for much, much longer.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to ride them, so that's not. Well, I shouldn't have said that on the telly show.
Depends what you mean by touched.
They are fed during the winter months. Hay is pitchforked over the enclosure, and they eat that. But no one has dared touch them. They are pretty feral, and from them are descended many of the cattle that we now know. And they look very different now, but you can see pretty much relation.
That one cleaning out its nostril with its tongue.
Yes. You could if you would. You would if you could. That was all wrong. Yeah, the Chillingham cattle. Do you know how many there are?
40.
They're about 100.
Oh,
but they have been going up.
When I saw them as a kid, there was
a harsh winter of 46, 47. They were down to 13 of them. But they've come back up to about 100, which is encouraging. Again, incest seems to be best.
Not in that neck of the woods.
The Chillingham cattle, as Ross knew, live wild and haven't been touched in 800 years. From livestock to larvae, what form of transport might a caterpillar use?
Do they hitch onto things then?
They do. I wonder what they hitch onto.
Furry mammals. Furry mammals carry a lot of stuff about.
They do, but in this case, they use each other. They use a principle, which is quite fun, and that is that the one that's on the bottom layer is going at a certain speed, and the one above, twice the speed, and the one above that, thrice the speed. So, all told, the whole group goes faster. And we've done a little experiment using stop-motion photography.
It's going to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you watch, we've got two yellow pieces there, and they're both moving one step at a time. But you'll see the one on the top layer is going faster, and the single one can't catch up with it. And that's the principle they use, that the top layer is going quicker. And so that's how caterpillars move at greater speed to get to where they need to be.
Like a travelator.
The travelator.
Except when people get on the travelator, they slow right down.
Oh, it's so annoying.
It drives me mad. When I get on a travelator, I really make the most of it.
Me too.
I accelerate.
I love the way that the windows and everything just speed past you. Oh, it's
travelator!
People actually, even on the travelator, they just stop.
They stop.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's
Just
doing
keep
the movement
walking.
for you, so you don't have to move.
That's why we're a nation of morbid... Oh, dear.
Or if you have small children, they turn around and run the other way.
Yeah.
There's people coming and you're like...
You have to do quite a lot of loud coughing and my flight's about to leave sort of stuff in order to get people just to move across. It's just politeness to take one side of the travelator.
Or you say, get out of the way!
Yes. That's an option too. Anyway, moving from larvae on to adult Lepidoptera. What's a surefire way of telling two butterflies apart?
Different colour wings.
That would be true of those that were different colours. But suppose they looked identical.
Then you
And
can't.
were different species or genus.
Then you can't. That's it.
Well, you might be.
Their breath.
Is it-
Their breath.
The prettier they are, the stinkier their breath.
Their dress. Their dress? Yes. That would do it.
Are they sort of
Their
same bit
names?
different? Like they are all the same,
There are
but
two
they're not?
genera of butterfly that look almost identical, and it's a type of evolution called Mullerian. There they are. And one of them tastes disgusting to birds, and the birds quite quickly learn that.
Oh, so you lick them. You just lick
Well,
them.
the birds did. And so the other one
Birds lick it.
evolved to look as much like the one that's disgusting without actually being disgusting, because it doesn't need to develop whatever it is, the disgusting taste, because the birds will assume that it is disgusting. And this is a thing that happens in nature. You look identical, just to survive.
How smug must they be?
Oh, I would say. It's very, very good.
And also, the one on the right there seems to have a tiny roll of gaffer tape in its mouth. They're not even his real wings. He's made them. He's like, look at that, I'm just like him. Come on. You go around the other side of that, it's all sticky back plastic round there.
But there is an answer to how you would tell the difference, and it's deeply personal.
Oh, it's the downstairs.
It's the genitalia. You would look at the genitalia. And there's a truly great novelist of the 20th century, although English was his third language. And he was very good at sexing butterflies. Indeed, telling their gender, examining their penises. There isn't
Texting.
Texting. No sexing. There's a collection still at Harvard University of these tiny little files filled with penises of butterflies that he collected. There he is. He lived in America, hence Harvard, but he was born in Russia and then moved to Paris from a rather knobby family, and his name was Vladimir Nabokov. But you must have heard of his most famous, Nabokov.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Butterflies.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing.
Don't let us down. Lolita, thank you. Yes, he wrote Lolita amongst many other magnificent
Operation Yew Tree are all over him at the moment.
Lolita, light of my loins.
And he collects the penises.
He was
He's not bothered about the rest of it.
he was an incredibly enthusiastic lepidopterist.
And then he lets them go.
And he went, in
Without
fact,
penis.
on index cards.
That's a butterfly that's had its penis removed.
I got it.
I've had him in
It
a
was
pop-up.
really good. It was really good.
Was his name...
Stick to girls!
Was his name Noboff, did you say? Noboff. Noboff by name, Noboff by nature. I'll do anything. Start with a butterfly, work my way up. Okay.
He was, as well as being a great writer, one of the finest lepidopterists of his time. He used his index cards, on which he wrote his scientific notes about Lepidoptera, to write the entire novel of Lolita, in fact, his most famous work.
Did his wife collect all of the lady gardens of the butterflies?
Very good point. I don't know if he exclusively confined himself to the penises of butterflies, but I suppose they were the easiest bits to see in such a small
Well, the
insect.
wings are easier to see.
Well, yeah, no. When it comes to sexing, I mean...
Butterfly pubes, that's the... Imagine a pillow. How soft would that pillow be? Just filled with butterfly pubes.
He gave a very, very...
That's what... Not many people know this. Not many people know this, but all of Stephen's suits are lined with butterfly pubes.
That's true.
It's like the finest tailors in the land.
Though I do
Butterfly tailors, no less.
That's right.
I do-
Tiny moths come in,
Yes.
Mr. Fly.
Moth
We
with
have collected
pants.
the butterfly pubes of 1,000,000 butterflies.
They've been donated willingly.
more than women.
That's why he looks so comfortable on the show. See, look, he's even flapping like a butterfly. The power of the pubes are moving through the fire. Look at it moving. There it goes again.
The best way to tell butterflies apart is to look them straight in the genitals. Can you give me your impression of a pufferfish on the pull? That's the gift that keeps on giving. Oh, you're puffing a face.
They play down. They play down the puffiness, I reckon.
They do, well, what they do is play up some whole other skill, which is really astonishing in order to attract a female.
They turn themselves inside out.
I would be impressed by that.
Well, already there are came up to you in a nightclub went, watch this, love. Boom, from your lungs and hearts and all
I'd be
that.
impressed. I mean, I wouldn't hug them, but I'd be impressed.
It's like birds, as you probably know. The males tend to be more colourful, and they try and put on a good show to
I did
attract
not know
females.
that.
Did you not?
I knew it was about birds.
Beautiful plumage.
Has he just had a slush puppy?
He has a blue slush puppy. What he does...
It was in such a big glass. He's got it. He went like that. It's gone on his eye.
What they do is actually remarkable. If you watch what he does, at first you'll think it's just random, but then you'll go, oh my goodness. It takes 9 days for him to prepare this for the female.
Is that just farting what he's doing
No.
there?
That's... He turned... Look. It's extraordinary. He's made this enormous crater with ridges, which are decorated with seashells. And it's...
What do you want? A sandcastle?
Yeah. I think they were impressed. 9 days' work to attract a female.
How many days?
9. A lot of females say that, and they go, no, not good enough. And it has to be absolutely perfect. And then when it is perfect, the female lays her eggs right in the middle. And then he then fertilises them and looks after them for 6 days, just to protect them.
That's nice. And then you can go back to work and stuff.
Go to another crater.
No, the most amazing thing about that is that's actually on the beach. That's not even under the water. He comes out like that. Puts little flags in every ridge as well.
It's, I won't say entirely unique because we know so little about what goes on in the ocean, but it's one of the few we know which is quite so marvellous and distinctive as the pufferfish.
But 9 days is a long time. I mean,
It's not really,
Sarah...
is it? I mean, it's, you know...
This is worth it.
She comes in, just goes, well, you've done that all wrong. I mean, it was 6 months for you to get that finished and it's wrong. I should have got somebody in to do it.
Anyway, the male pufferfish attracts his lady with a heart exhibition. Now, what do we call a fish that drives a tank?
Tankfish.
You might call it tankfish, but when I say we, I mean we. What do we here at QI Central call a fish that drives a tank?
Sir.
Let's have... That was a shock. We read you like a book. We're going to show you a fish driving a tank.
What?
Right. Yes. So if my splendid porters can come on with a little tank tray.
The porters, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. There we are. So, we've got a tank and we've got a fish who's going to drive the tank.
Oh.
And there's our fish. He doesn't live here, I want you to know. This is just a transport system. And...
This is like the poshest fairground ever.
yeah. If I turn on his little motor here...
This is a fish tank.
And as soon as he moves, he
Give
will...
him some food or poke him with a biro.
Every different direction he goes, he moves the tank. And, whoa, there you go. Let's move you into the middle here. There you go, because we're getting all excited. There you are. A few ants' eggs for him, or whatever it is we feed him with. And
butterfly penis.
But you obviously want to know... I said, what do we call him? His name is Alan. He's Alan, the QI goldfish. And just to put your minds at rest, this is not his tank. He has a beautiful...
It's my tank.
He has a beautiful place where he hangs out, which is full of wonderful toys. And
it's near Watford, and he drives there himself every morning.
And you might like to meet our splendid elf, Alex Bell, who built this particular contraption for Alan. Will you come on, Alex?
Here we have the classic elf. Educated to within an inch of his life.
How long did it take you to build this?
A couple of days. It's made of Lego completely. So
it's entirely Lego?
Yeah, it's all Lego.
Can we race it against caterpillars?
And why did you make it?
There's a Dutch company called Studio Dip, and they made a bigger version of this for a fish to live in, and we thought we'd have a go at making our own.
Did you build it over 2 days to attract girls? Are you impressed?
It's working for me. It's working for me.
I think the question that everyone wants to ask is that if you were to make a full-size version out of the Pope-mobile, and the pontiff was to swim very hard, would that work? Could we do that?
Probably.
Just to put at rest those who are wondering what the principle behind it is, it's when he swims forward, what happens exactly?
Yeah, there are 4 sensors, one in each corner, so whichever corner he goes to, it goes in that direction.
Ah, right, it's that simple. So it's nothing to do with the pressure of the water. Right?
No.
Would it be possible to build a giant one, put a dolphin in it, that could swim up, do a somersault, and then the whole vehicle could loop the loop?
Theoretically, yes.
Let's do it. I should pay for that out of my own pocket.
Are there future uses for this?
Maybe military, I think.
Military. The British Army is on its uppers.
I think they'll probably be able to fund it.
Well, it's very exciting for him, but I'm sure he wants to get back to
exactly.
his huge and very, very luxurious accommodation in the QI office.
He lives in a system.
I will hand him over to him. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan and Alex. That was very pleasing. The porters! So, anyway, moving on. What has 32 brains and sucks?
The front row. Is there a creature that has 32 brains? Does an octopus have lots of brains in its tentacles?
Yes, and genitalia at the end as well, if you remember.
Oh, yes, I do remember.
Yes.
Really?
On one of them.
How do you know which one?
You'll soon find out.
Get a few lagers into it.
But it's not an octopus. It is an animal that is associated with moist conditions. And
Slug.
It looks rather like a slug. Here's the thing you can do to test this particular animal, and they've done it. They've filled a condom with blood and dropped it in the water where these creatures... Yes! And
People
they
have done
found...
that intentionally, filled a condom with blood.
In order to demonstrate how...
Others accidentally.
In order to demonstrate...
Are you all right in there? Yeah.
it's always been...
That's horrific. It's in order...
If you fill a condom full of blood, that's the best way in the wild to catch one of those vampire deers.
It might do that, but what it doesn't do is catch a leech, because leeches haven't evolved expecting humans to splash through the marshes, but they have expected other kinds of animal. And
A frog, perhaps?
a frog is a perfect example. If you put the condom in covered in blood, leeches will not be attracted to it. If you just wipe the condom over a frog and then drop it in, the leeches will go "Fa-tong," like that, because they smell a bit of frog.
Frog will be your
They
friend for life.
go, "Fa-tong, boing."
Exactly.
what-
They hop
yeah.
around. So we needn't be as afraid of leeches as we seem to be. So, the merest whiff of frog will lure a leech to lunch, but what part do twiglets play in a mugger's lunch? No, we've been very literal with our picture.
Ooh,
or have we?
Is that Annie Lennox?
Is a mugger's lunch a euphemism?
A mugger is a type of creature.
A mugger
Lives in
is
this kind of environment.
Is it a crocodile or an
It
alligator?
is a crocodile, yes.
Right.
A mugger crocodile.
So, but it goes to parties.
No, it's not a twiglet, it is a twiglet in the most literal sense of a twiglet.
A little
not
twig.
twiglet.
A stick.
A little stick.
It hides behind the...
It doesn't hide behind it.
It's a very small
It uses it
alligator.
as
It
a tool.
uses it as a tool in order to entrap.
Like
Catches
chopsticks.
hula hoops with
It
it.
catches wading birds who think, well, I'm building my nest. Oh, look, there's a log with some twigs on it.
No way! How stupid are birds?
Tiny brains, haven't they? Tiny little brains. Useless.
Tiny. They deserve to be eaten.
On the one hand, you think, oh, I'd love to be able to fly like a bird, but you'd be an idiot. That's why they're always flying into windows and lorries and stuff.
Crows are very intelligent. Crows, ravens.
Look, crows?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Right, here's a crow swooping around. Oh, yeah, that looks like a nice field. Oh, better not go in there. Oh, no, he's a scary. He's clearly a trained assassin. Be sensitive. At least set your scarecrow up like this.
Just doing that, like that.
Take it down.
Yeah, so that is one example of, it's the only example we know of a reptile using tools. And it's only a recent discovery.
How does it get them on its head with its little hands?
It cleverly manoeuvres. It doesn't use its
So it
little
puts
hands.
them in the
It
water and then it
takes
does
9
that.
days.
Yeah.
Anything that takes 9
He has
days.
to lie under a tree till a twig lands on his head.
It's not the only animal, however, that uses... Well, the principle is a lure. It lures other animals. You can see there's a type of snake, for example, that has a very clever lure.
Oh, it makes
It pretends to be a worm. But look what happens. It's scary. It's a furry thing. Whoa! It's so quick. And it's eaten itself a nice little furry meal because the furry thing thought, oh, there's a nice worm. And you can see, if it pulls back, you can see what it's just eaten. Oh, dear.
Oh, wow.
Some of the snakes, similar thing, very clever. They'll pretend to be a draft excluder. And then when the mouse approaches, they'll strike like that. And but the mouse gets the last laugh because it's not a mouse; it's an old lady's slippers. And it's just a laughing nana.
Oh. I ought to express my gratitude to the one and only Al, the Viper Keeper, for that footage. He's lent us that footage. Anyway, crocodiles are the only reptiles known to use tools. Now, what's the most energetic thing that a sloth or sloth ever does? Whichever you prefer. Oh, you're spending your penny. And you're right, too. Well done.
Going to the lavatory.
Going to the lavatory. They spend all the time in the trees, except when they go down and use a communal lavatory, which they share. And this habit of sharing lavatories has given rise to some pretty
Somebody's missed the lavatory there.
Well, I'm afraid it gets...
We on a friend.
It gets really, really worse. I mean, it's grim beyond believing this, but at the Estación Biológica Quebrada Blanco in Peru, which is a field research site in the Amazon, they observed very odd feeding habits of two-toed sloths. They were hanging upside down from the roof of the scientists' latrine, and they started to drop down into it and scoop up handfuls of human excrement and toilet paper, and they would eat it. They even plunged into the pit itself, which you can see, and emerged covering after a liquid lunch in poo. The research paper noted it was scooping with one hand from a semi-liquid manure and then eating from the hand. When more persons gathered around the latrine to watch this bizarre behaviour, the sloth emerged from the latrine and climbed into the nearest tree. So it didn't like being watched. Might have been slightly ashamed.
You know when the film Jaws came out and it was really terrifying to go to the toilet in case a shark came up and bit your bum?
I don't remember feeling that, to be honest.
Well, maybe that was just our house. But now, there's another one then. Now we've got to worry about...
A sloth coming up and
sloths
clawing
coming
at your ass.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't do that. They'd just sit there like that.
Super Nanny would say that was unacceptable.
I mean, it must be hard. It must be hard for them to be both an animal and a deadly sin. It's true, you know? That's true. Every morning they just go, oh. Is it the sort? I might be wrong here. You'll know. When they die, they stay in the trees, don't they?
How
Totally.
long for, though?
Just forever.
Forever.
No, honestly, you'll just like a skeleton. Like it's just a...
They'll be eaten, perhaps, by...
Yeah, but just the, not the bones, just the outside.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to find your nana, isn't it?
That's how we found mine. Down the local park. Oh, no. Oh, God. She's only gone on the climbing frame. Really? Why did people go, oh, as if my nan, genuinely? Oh, that's terrible.
We don't know much about what goes on in the North East, but we hear things.
Mainly from you.
So, the only reason, as Alan knew, that sloths ever move out of a tree is to spend a penny. But now it's time to wallow for a while in the filthy pile of ordure that we call general ignorance, so fingers on buzzers, please. How can you tell your Labradoodle is pleased to see you? Aren't they wonderful dogs? Yes.
It's got an erection.
You mean it's got its lipstick out?
Yeah. It's always beetroot in our family. Oh, Mum, it's got its beetroot out again.
Does it smell like lipstick?
I'm going to look next time a bit closer.
Yeah.
There's a Labradoodle, a cross between a Labrador and a poodle.
Yeah.
Which is like a seeing eye dog.
Yes.
And a poodle, which is like a fashion accessory dog. So it's like a dog to see with and be seen with.
And a Labradoodle is not, it's not like some people think, like an Etch-a-Sketch, because that's a Magnadoodle.
Oh, sweet.
No, a Magnadoodle is a dog that just attracts spoons.
Why is it pleased to see you?
Well, the point is, it's not just a Labradoodle. It's all about dogs' expressions of pleasure to see their owners. And we know about tail wagging, obviously.
Tail wagging.
But tail wagging is very subtle, and it's really for signals to other dogs. But the answer is actually rather sweet. And you may, if you have dogs at home, check this out. When you get home next, after a little period of absence, it's very, very quick, so it has to use high-speed cameras usually to have found this out, but you may be able to see it with the eye, is that your dog will welcome you by lifting its left eyebrow, if you are the owner and master of your dog or mistress. And that is a rather touching thing. The left eyebrow goes up very, very quickly.
I don't know, just being quizzical.
Well, because it only happens to their owners, and it doesn't happen to strangers. It doesn't. In fact, you'd expect them to be more quizzical with people they hadn't met. But in fact, with people they haven't met, there are other things. Their left ear will go back, for example. And if it's an object they don't know, their right ear will go forward.
So let me get this right. So owner comes in,
Yeah.
left eyebrow goes
Yeah.
up. Stranger comes in, ear goes that way.
Yeah.
So if I was to come in the house
Yeah.
and then quickly get a stranger to come in,
Yeah.
I could flip my dog.
What's it mean when it licks its willy? What does it mean?
It just wants to have a good time, I suppose. I can't think of any other reason.
Noted.
Yeah. So dogs show they're pleased to see you by raising an eyebrow. Which cat never changes its spots?
Well, now, see? I found sense a trap.
Do you? Oh, lion.
Is it the Jaguar?
Good.
Because if you shave a Jaguar, it's got the Jaguar pattern on its skin. That's not its fur. So therefore, it doesn't matter how many times you shave it, the spots remain the same.
Interesting. It's not the correct answer.
All right, I'll be off then.
We avoided saying the leopard.
Yes, because that was the trap I sensed.
We can see a little leopard kitten with its mother, and you can see the leopard kitten really does have quite tight spots, very close together, and the mother has what are called rosettes, which are very different. The animal actually is a lion, and the spots are where its whiskers sprout from, and you can see those little lines of dots
Like
there.
it's been sniffing glue.
They
like that.
never change. They never ever change. So they're like fingerprints. You can identify a particular line just by the array of
You'd have
its
to get very
spots.
close to it, though,
You
wouldn't
would,
you?
and you wouldn't necessarily want to do
No.
that. No, exactly. So, it's lions, not leopards, that never change their spots. Which is the biggest of the big cats, though? Yes, line in first.
Is it the Jaguar?
Not even the V12. No, I'm afraid not. Any other thoughts?
Well, the lion, the
Tiger?
leopard,
No.
Tiger? Is it the tiger?
You're both half right. The cougar.
Oh, it's the
Labra tiger.
It is.
Labra tiger.
The Labra tiger. It is the liger, and the liger is composed of what?
a lion and a
But
tiger.
which gender round?
The front half
A man,
is the tiger. It's like a dodgy safari salesman. I'll tell you what, man. That's lovely. That's
Yeah.
a lion. That is.
male tiger and a female
Yes,
lion.
in both cases they put the male first. So if it's a liger, it's a lion male and a tiger female. And if it's a tigon, then it's a male tiger and a female.
The best one is the giraffe. It's just got a zebra body and a giraffe neck, and it's always falling forward.
There are zebroids, which are zebras crossed with all kinds of equestrians.
Dog's a dragon in a
That's a
book.
very extraordinary mixture there. In January 2014, the first set of white ligers was born, and there they are.
Aww.
And they are possibly going to be the biggest big cats ever. They're already pretty huge, as you can see.
Looks like one of those things you put on the end of your bed with the zip that you used to put your pyjamas in.
Little footstool for All Saints. I haven't seen All Saints for years.
And their diet is exclusively magicians.
So you get a zebra, you get a whelphin?
A wolf and a dolphin?
No. It said deliberately,
They howl.
whelphin.
They howl out their blowholes. The best one is a werewolfin.
Yeah.
That's where every full moon, a wolf dolphin leaps out of the sea, changes into a man.
It's a mixture of what's known as a false killer whale and a bottlenose dolphin. There's only one in existence, it seems, in captivity, but there have been others reported in the wild.
They've been seen on the M1 in big tank cars.
So, good, excellent. That brings me to the scores. Let's leap to them. In last place, I'm afraid he's come thousands of miles to be minus 20. It's Colin Lane. In third place, twice as good a score, but still minus 10, Sarah Millican. And minus 5, Alan Davies. Which means that our winner on a staggering +6 is Ross Noble. So it's good night from Sarah, Ross, Colin, Alan and me, and I leave you with the last words of Noel Coward of all people, and how sad they are. Good night, my darlings. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
The quizzing continues with hidden connections to be made from Victoria Corin Mitchell when you play Only Connect tomorrow night at 8:30 on BBC2. Chris Bosman, Susan Sarandon and Kerry Mulligan all come to terms with grief in our film The Greatest next, whilst BBC3 Now has an American Dad double bill.